Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our fifth episode of NAMI Coffee Talks, a podcast designed to resemble a tight-knit discussion about mental health and NAMI events while sharing a cup of coffee. I'm your host, Helen Hu, and today I'll be interviewing Co-President of Lynbrook Challenge Success and current high school student Michael Peng. Lynbrook Challenge Success is a club at Lynbrook High School at San Jose, California, dedicated to redefining the idea of success and promoting the well-being of all students. So without further ado, hi Michael, I am so happy to have you here.
Hi, Helen. I'm happy to be here.
Great, so let's jump right into it. I know that your club is called Lynbrook Challenge Success, so could you tell our listeners what is the mission of your club and what are you guys trying to accomplish?
Okay, so if you've ever seen schools or been a part of schools in the Bay Area, you will notice that there exists a really toxic mentality that clouds the minds of many students, where people try to be as successful as possible, but in doing so, they constantly chase artificial values such as grades or prestige. And this toxicity goes to an extent where students often disregard their own mental well-being just for the sake of pursuing such standards. And this is obviously a very prominent issue, especially in schools like Lynbrook, where the competitiveness and strive for academic achievement is excessive. And this type of behavior is precisely preventing many students from enjoying really the full high school experience. So our general mission as Challenge Success is to combat this issue through redefining the definition of success so that students can enjoy a more positive high school experience and have like an overall better mental well-being.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like that's a really important mission right now, and I feel like it's really relevant to a lot of high school students. So I love that mission, and I was wondering, how do you carry this out? So what are some kind of activities that you do, and what have you guys done in the past?
Okay. A couple of examples of events that we have hosted in the past is, first of all, we've done a well-being speaker panel for freshmen and sophomore students in the past, where we brought in upperclassmen to share their insight for these students, so that freshmen and sophomores can essentially see a different facet of high school, one that doesn't just involve grinding for academics, but also includes like a healthy work-life balance and encouraged to get involved into like all kinds of different student life experiences. So this like well-being panel was like something that we think like really helped a lot of students. And one reason why we saw it in such positive light is because in the end we received like a lot of meaningful questions in our Q&A session at the end, where we saw that students were actually extremely curious about like how to enjoy high school after the panel. So I think this panel was pretty effective in promoting the mindset that we want students to actually focus on.
That's great. I love the idea of having a freshman student panel. And I was wondering, are you guys connected with any other clubs that have a similar mission to what you're trying to do in your school?
Okay, so Stanford has a program called Stanford Challenge Success, which is where we got most of our ideals and values from. And we were a branch of Stanford's Challenge Success in the past, but we have since parted from them and became sort of our own separate thing. We're still guided by administration, our advisor being Mr. Wong, but we're just not part of like Stanford's program anymore. And I think this was for the best because Lynbrook has its own very unique character where like the issue of a misdirected and like competitive mindset is particularly pressing. So having this type of flexibility in hosting our events is really nice because we can focus more on issues that are specific to Lynbrook.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of flexibility, I'm sure that the current COVID-19 pandemic and social distancing has also affected your club's plans. So, how have you guys adapted to that, or what was affected?
So having the school closures this past year has prevented us from carrying out some of like most of our projected events that we were originally going to have second semester. For example, we had a project where we worked with teachers and also a parent panel that we were going to host, but due to in-person events being canceled, those unfortunately cannot be hosted anymore. So instead, we're kind of focusing on building a stronger presence online. We have been doing collaborations with other different health organizations like this podcast with like NAMI. And also we realized that many students have lost a good amount of their summer opportunities. So, and especially in a school like Lynbrook, this can have a pretty good toll on the mental health of many of these students because they might feel lost in direction or nervous not having anything to do during the summer. So on our social media, we have been posting about summer opportunities to sort of like mitigate this issue. And in addition to this, we've also been posting about different ways people can actually be successful during summer and like during shelter in place, despite many academic opportunities being canceled. Like for example, spending time with family, sharing music with friends, taking care of general hygiene. These are things that are just as important for success, if not more, than simple academic accomplishments. And yeah, and another thing that we've done is that we've created a blog on our website where anyone can anonymously submit a piece of writing about basically any topic that they want to like put up.
Oh,
And we know that right now there's a lot going on in the world, and this past semester has been extremely chaotic. So this blog is kind of a place where people can have discussions about what they feel in such stressful times, and it really allows people to like open up and rant if they'd like, or just to talk about something that's on their mind. So yeah, these are the mainly the types of things that we have been doing over this past
yeah.
semester.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's super cool how you guys weren't stopped by COVID. You guys immediately came up with new ideas and are offering so many things to your club members. I also really like the blog idea because it's super relevant to this time, and I'm sure everybody wants a platform to be able to share their thoughts. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But aside from the blog, do you guys have any future plans of what you're planning to do in the future?
Yeah, so in the future, when school opens back up, we plan to pick up where we left off and carry out the events that have been canceled last year. This includes, first of all, the parent panel, which is similar to the well-being panel, where we plan to bring in speakers such as a college admissions officer, psychiatrists, and graduated seniors to speak to an audience of parents. And the purpose of this is to show parents from a different perspective the role that they can take in their students' lives that will give them the best high school experience. And this is important because many times the source of the academically competitive mindset that is seen in many students stems from the parents of these students. And being able to reach these people could be a way to change the perspective of how many students see success. And another project that we have been working on this past year is one that involves gathering gathering strategies for garnering healthy teacher-student relationships.
Mhm.
And so essentially working with teachers to like help out the mental well-being of students. And this is important because teachers play a big role in their students' lives, and they can play a huge part in improving the mental well-being of these students. So this past semester, we have been collecting data from different teachers about how like strategies of how they like build stronger relationships with their students, and we plan to present them first thing next year. But aside from these two events, it's mostly tentative on what else we're planning to do.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. I love how you guys are being super creative about the way you're approaching this as well, reaching out to parents, reaching out to teachers, as those are all people who may affect students' view of success as well. Um, so I really like everything that you're doing right now, and I'm wondering, has your club taken a different approach in the past to address this issue, and how's your club changed since its founding year?
Yeah, so this club was founded about 4 to 5 years ago. And in the past, the events that we hosted as Challenge Success were geared more towards stress relieving and like spreading positivity throughout students. For example, we hosted this annual event called Release Week, where the week before AB testing, we would bring in puppies, bounce houses, bubble wraps, all of these other types of fun stuff to help students relieve stress. And although all these things are good for students, it kind of seemed like what we were doing didn't really align with the values of Challenge Success. Um, what we aimed to do was we wanted to redefine the definition of success, but simply relieving stress and hosting party-like events didn't really achieve these goals. So this year we took a different approach. We focused more on long-term solutions and aimed to mitigate the issue of toxicity from its actual source. And that is why we've been working with parents and teachers who are people that can actually have an impact on this toxic mindset. So yeah, this is really the first year that we've been trying this new approach, and we think it has been going pretty well.
Yeah. Now, this is a more general question, but if a current high school student was worried about their grades and they view having good grades and getting into a good college as the definition or the epitome of success, what would you say to them?
So I would just say that like they shouldn't really view grades as like the ultimate measurement of success, because there are many other ways to be successful, and there's more to life than just like making money. And like taking care of yourself, spending time with your family, taking care of making sure that your hygiene is well. These are other ways in which you can be like more successful that are not necessarily just like chasing perfect grades or test scores and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd probably tell them to more focus on these types of aspects.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like this is a message that can not only apply to high school students, but also people in any phase of their life, whether they're choosing a new career or whether they're entering college. This is always a good lesson to learn. So it's super great that you guys are trying to change or trying to get people to recognize a different definition of success starting from the high school level. To all of our listeners, if you are a current high school student or are interested in learning more, you can check out Lynbrook Challenge Success on their Instagram or Facebook at Lynbrook Challenge Success. And also make sure to check out their website, lynbrookchallengesuccess.com, if you're curious about their past events or want to look at their blog. All of these will be linked in the description below on YouTube. Also, make sure to follow NAMI Santa Clara County on our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn to get updates and subscribe to our Spotify, iTunes, or YouTube channel to listen to future episodes. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you, Michael, especially for being a great guest on our podcast.